All right, guys, this is Jeff Gamble out of Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a palm tree in the background to remind me of where I should be and not where I'm at. Marty's here. Hello. David Mudge is here from Florida. Hope you're having good weather. Dave Thomas is here from Kentucky.
We have palm trees, by the way.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Thankfully. We appreciate that too. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. Aaliyah's here from Texas. But tonight, we are at our open house. We have a new time. It will be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is going to help our West Coast people out tremendously, especially those who are in like central time zones. I know it's very difficult to get off work, drive home, do this, do that, and get all the way, on a Zoom and make sure the kids are put away and the dogs and cats and everything else. So really quick, why am I doing this open house? Well, I am a traditional naturopathic doctor. That's kind of my background. I already said I'm from Indianapolis. We own a couple, Brandy and I, my fiance, own a couple traditional businesses. We own 317 Holistic Health Studio. We have about 12 of us total. And I say about because we have one that lives in Arizona that flies in. We have two that are pregnant, one that should be having a kid in February, another one that's having a kid in May. So we got people coming in, coming out. But 12 of us total. We're expanding that to 16 people. So running a traditional business with a lot of people is insanity. Meridian Street Realty Group, we do own a traditional real estate company where I work with buyers and listings. We're also investors. We own property. Specifically, I like land. Land is very cool because it doesn't have three things. It doesn't have termites, it doesn't have toilets, and it doesn't have tenants, right? All you have to do is mow the grass. That's the best part about owning land or lots. And then we're looking at commercial properties as well. And then my leadership network is actually a coaching consulting company that I actually own. It focuses on helping people with recruiting, team building, events, setting up events, which I had a whole conversation with a friend of mine today about. And then last but not least is growth and achievement. How do you take yourself and you constantly push to the next level? Because most people create a comfort zone where nothing ever changes, right? What my point to all that is we own a bunch of stuff, and I've been in direct sales for a long time. And what I'd like to share with you tonight, I've never seen something that anyone could get into, anybody could participate in, and they could win even if they don't sell, even if they don't recruit, even if they don't build a team. If they just participate, they're going to be better off than not. So let me get into how that works. We're going to evaluate six areas. The company itself, you want to make sure the company is solid, right? The need, it's very important that you have an actual need that you're providing to the marketplace. So it's not just hype, right? The market itself, where can you market this? What is your ability to expand? The products, are the products, reasonable? Are they wanted? Are they needed? Are they already being bought? Are they cost, comparison? Are they effective? And then the compensation, are you getting paid for what you do? But last but not least is timing. In real estate, we say it's location, location, location. But what I've realized in business, it's timing, timing, timing. So let's go through this. The company itself is based out of Sarasota, Florida. It's founded by Keith and Chrissy. And what I like about these guys is their background. Three particular things. Number one is they started out in the field of direct sales, actually selling and recruiting and building a team. And they had success there. So they have that background and experience. Second, they joined another company, and Keith became part of the acquisition team and Chrissy became part of customer service. So they know the corporate side of things. Then they ended up, because that company had two owners and one of the owners wanted to go do something else, they ended up going with that other owner because they had a better way to do it. And Keith became the head of acquisitions and Chrissy became the head of customer service and helped build the entire department, which is very cool. They eventually looked at everything that was going on and said, hey, we believe this is how most businesses start. We believe we have a better way to do this. We believe we can create a company where even more people can win. So they decided to launch QuickSilver May 1st of 2019. So here's the important number. They've passed the 5-year mark. If you look at most companies don't make it past 5 years. The companies that do make it past 5 years, you want to look very closely at their success and where they're at because you're probably positioned in the right place at the right time. History shows that. Businesses show that. So we're open and expanding in 29 countries currently. The United States and Canada is kind of the base, and then we have 27 other countries that really have no leadership, that really have no base, that we have the ability to go into. And I say we're ground floor because we have less than 6,000 total sales reps in all 29 countries. So you could put all 6,000 people in Indianapolis where I am, and you'd still have 1.4 million people to go talk to. Anybody here, anybody here could move to Indianapolis, just build in Indianapolis and get to the top of our commission chart without even leaving Indianapolis. That's how wide open it is. And you still have the rest of the other 29 countries to go to. So the need, there, I believe, everybody would probably say yes to this and nobody would say no, is right now there is a need to make more money, right? Absolutely a need to make more money. Also, there is a need to control and have more time. Most jobs today are like, well, we're going to bring you on. And have you ever heard this? You may work an occasional Saturday, which means if we call you on any Saturday, regardless of what Saturday is, you have to work or we're going to fire you. And then it's like, by the way, you're probably going to have to take that home with you too. I don't know if you've ever worked a corporate job, but that's kind of how they do it now. And more people are spending more and more time, even at home, doing work, looking at emails, checking, getting back with people. There is no more you're off at 5 o'clock and don't have to do anything else in most jobs today. So people are looking to kind of buy back their time. Also, the ability to create more security. I think there is a need for the ability to create more security nowadays because most jobs don't have any. I mean, and most people who think they have security, I'm like, well, you might have security with the company you're in, but let me ask you a question. Could AI or robotics or the combination of the two of those replace you in the next 5 years? I was just watching a very interesting podcast all about AI, and the smartest people in the world who are building, working, and investing in AI. These were a bunch of billionaires sitting around talking about this. Said currently, right now, AI will be smarter than any human on the planet by the end of the year. So that's scary. But what's really scary is he said one of the billionaires said, in the next 5 years, AI will be smarter than every single person on the planet collectively. It's coming. And right now, even in construction, even in hospitals, there is literally not a job that AI and robotics isn't looking at taking out. One of the billionaires said, right now, if you're going to medical school, it's probably a mistake. He said, probably. It's probably a mistake because AI and robotics will run absolutely everything in healthcare within 5 years. I was like, wow. So, security wise, if you haven't looked into, just type in your job or your career or whatever and say, is there anybody in AI or robotics working on in my field, to replace me? Um, if they can use AI or robotics, they will replace every single person. Every company will do it. There's no question. Because guess what? AI and robotics shows up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doesn't talk back yet, right? Doesn't get sick, doesn't need paid holidays, doesn't get pregnant, doesn't have a bad day, doesn't have a mental health day, mental stress day, doesn't care what's going on politically, doesn't have grudges. It just shows up and does what it's supposed to do. They will replace you. It's scary. So I'm just saying it's really, really, really smart right now to have a backup plan. Last but not least, on this current list, it says the need or the ability to contribute and help people, I think is like, that might be the top one on the list, right? Because if you can get money and you can get time and you can get security, what else is there to do other than go help other people do that? I mean, I learned a long time ago from a friend of mine. They're like, look, if you get rich and you're all by yourself, it's fun to be on the beach for a day or two, but then eventually you kind of want to talk to people, right? I mean, maybe for a week, for some of us, we need a week to decompress from everybody. But after a week, I mean, it's like it gets pretty boring by yourself. Who else could we bring with us? And I think one more thing is on this that wasn't listed here that should be, is the ability to just to have fun and be entertained. I think that's what, a lot of us are looking for, but it's a lot more fun and entertaining to do it with a group of people, which is why I'm here tonight. So the market, we talked about the United States and Canada. Obviously, it's founded in the United States, so that's the base. But we also have Aruba, Australia, Bahamas, Barbados. I mean, all those just tell me I need to get on a plane and go somewhere warm. We have Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Switzerland, Sweden, Wales, Scotland. I mean, guys, there are two continents that are not listed yet. I say yet. There's all of South America, nowhere in South America, and nowhere in Africa yet is really on this list that I can see. So we have two continents still to go after, billions of people that could be involved that aren't involved yet, that also would benefit from what we're doing and would be interested. So what are the products? The products are gold and silver. I would add copper to this list, but lately we've been completely sold out of copper, like completely. So copper would be on the list, but currently right now it's all sold out. So, what is the flagship? The flagship product that Keith and Christy decided to go with was silver. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why they said silver. Number one is the 1 ounce government silver bullion coins were number one, the easiest to acquire. They're the easiest to mint. They're the easiest to get a hold of. Number two, they're the easiest to handle, meaning if you have a lot of them, they're easy to move around. Number three, they're the easiest to liquidate. I've had many people who I've shared this with say, yeah, I get that you could buy them and I get that they might go up, but where do you sell them? Where do you sell them? I mean, some people are selling them on Facebook Marketplace. Some people are selling them to other collectors. Some people are selling them to the places that say we buy gold and silver. Some people are taking them to pawn shops. Some people are calling QuickSilver because QuickSilver will buy them back. So you've got many different ways to liquidate. So hopefully that answers your question if you have that question. Now, let's look at the spot price history of silver. The spot price history of silver, 1970. I wish I could go back in time. I can't. I wish I could. If you find a way to do it, let me know. I'm bringing a couple $100 with us, but you'd have to bring the old $100 bills, not the new ones. They won't clear. People like, what is this monopoly money you just have? We'd have to bring a bunch of old hundreds, and I have a bunch of them. I've been collecting those as well, just in case, right? You never know. $1.83 a coin. Ay caramba. 1975, which is a good year for me. That's when I was born. $4.63. Again, ay caramba. Wish I had $100. Go back 20 coins per hundred. I mean, I'd bring a couple grand for sure. 1980, it spiked. It spiked. Why did it spike? Well, there was the S&L scandal. The S&L stands for Savings and Loan Scandal. Banks had over leveraged themselves, and when fiat currency or paper money, right, paper money happens to be questionable, people always in history have always resorted back to gold and silver. Now, how do I know that? I'm reading a very cool book. I would suggest getting this book if you're into gold, silver, whatever. I don't know if you can see this. There's my face, but there's the book. It like flashes and comes up and then it goes away. So it's called Rich Dad Advisor's Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver. And basically, what this book talks about in the first half of it is the history of money, the history of money, and specifically the history of fiat currency, gold, silver. I mean, they go all the way back to Egypt and talk about what the Egyptians were doing, and then talk about what the Romans were doing and the Greeks. Very interesting book. But if you just look at the chart, I mean, basically, if you do the graph, it's going up and to the right. And when you're talking about investing, you specifically investing in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, whatever, you typically want the graph to go up and to the right. Now, if you go to the doctor, you don't want it to go up and to the right? I mean, you don't want your weight or your blood pressure or anything else, right? Typically, that's not good. So the spot price of history in silver, specifically in 2025, we had a record year, a crazy record year, 147% increase. In fact, I just looked January 26th, January 26th last year, the spot price of silver was about $32. Today, it's over $110. That's a 3x. Now, I just shared with a friend of mine. I sent him just a few days ago, right before it crossed $100, and he's like, well, Jeff, you're only up $12. I said, well, that's true if I only had one coin. But considering I have several hundred coins, I did nothing to make what the average family probably makes in a week. And I'm just sitting on it and it keeps going up. Now, can I guarantee it's going to keep going up? No, no. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a wizard, right? I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see the future. If I can't go back in time, I absolutely can't go forward in time yet. I'm just saying history shows that it's headed that direction. The current spot price of silver is currently, when I last looked, was $111 dollars and some change. I know it spiked at 115 the other day, but it's holding pretty steady and it just keeps going up so far. Now, why would it be going up? Well, number one, silver would be going up because it's industrial, and we'll talk about all the industrial uses here in a minute. Obviously, it's valuable because it's used in so many different things on the industrial side, but obviously, it's also used as money, real money. It's tangible, something you can hold in your hand. People also ask me, well, if I join this company and I buy silver, am I actually physically getting the silver? And the answer is yes. I mean, I have some of them right over here, right? They come in these little packages. And then you open them up, and most people, their eyes get really big. It looks like treasure, right? There's stuff printed on every one of them. They come from various mints, the Australian mint, Canada mint, the Caribbean mints. But you get minted coins, and most people are like, "This is really heavy." I was like, "Yeah, silver is actually pretty heavy, especially when you get a bunch of it. Gold is very heavy when you get a bunch of it." So it is tangible. It's also transportable. You could throw a stack of those in your pocket and, travel, get on a plane. It's transferable. I could hand it to Dave or hand it to, Marty, hand it to Aaliyah, and, now it's transferred to somebody else, and nobody has to, check mark anything. I don't have to go to a bank and sign off on it, etc. And it's also very economical. I mean, still for $110, if you have any kind of job at all, part-time job, full-time job, career, anybody could buy silver. And here's the thing, this is a 1 ounce coin. So this is about 112 to 115 right now, from what I've seen. You can get fractional silver too. So because people have asked me, they're like, what happens if it goes to $5,000 like gold? Well, then you can buy a fractional piece instead of a full ounce. You can get a hundredth of an ounce or a tenth of an ounce, and still be under $100 unless it goes to 10 grand. And if it goes to 10 grand, I will be skipping all of these meetings because I mean, I have several hundred ounces. Hopefully, in a couple of years, it does that. But until then, I'll be right here every Tuesday. So the industrial use of silver. Number one, medical for bandages and catheters. Now, let me ask everybody here a question. Do you think they're going to be making more bandages and catheters over the next 50 years or less? My guess is more. I'm just betting on that. Water purification. Do you think we're going to be needing more more of that or less? I think probably more. It's also used in all electronics, all computers, all cell phones, all cameras, and listen to this, all screens, all screens. Whether it's a cell phone, whether it's an iPad, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a TV, all screens, all the screens made in cars, all of the lithium batteries. So all of these EV cars, the Teslas and the new Bolt or Zolt or whatever the heck that car is that Chevy put out. It was interesting looking. The Honda hybrids and everything. Anything that has that lithium battery has silver in it. All electronics, all switches, and I just found out all solar. All solar has silver in it too. All these new solar panels has silver in it. So my question is, do you think they're going to be needing more of that or less? If you agree that they're going to need more bandages, more catheters, more purification, more computers, more electronics, more screens, if all of that is in demand, if demand is high and supply is limited, what does the price do? Basic economics, it goes up, right? So we're kind of hedging our bet on that, that we're going to be making more stuff. Now, the next question would be, well, why buy it from QuickSilver? And I think there's two real reasons. Number one is QuickSilver does the research itself. It buys directly from the government mint, so you're getting it direct. But also, the group of people who are involved in QuickSilver, there's a bunch of real collectors. I'll be honest, when I first started this, I didn't know the difference between real silver or fake silver or even how to tell the difference until I got on the calls and I started doing the research and I started meeting some of the people and they shared with me how that works. And some of them actually have the equipment to test. They're like, that's why we're here. is number one, is you're getting something that's real. Number two is the opportunity. QuickSilver will actually pay you to refer, and we'll talk about how that works here in a second. But online, local shops, pawn shops are never, they will never pay you to refer them business. QuickSilver pays you to refer people and teach people about this. So I thought, well, that's kind of smart and a good idea. So before we get into the compensation, I need to run through some legality stuff. Number one, there are no guarantees of income and promotion simply because I don't know if you'll do the work here or not. Number two, you are an independent contractor, so you are 1099. That's good and bad. The good part is you get to basically write stuff off. Check with your accountant, CPA. The bad news is you're responsible, right? I mean, that's kind of how it works. If you make money here, you're responsible for it. Work and results, there's no set hours, there's no set schedules, there's no set quote. You do what you want to do when you want to do it, which is very cool. Educational resources and support. They are available. They are available, but not required. Now, why would you not want to learn more? I don't know. You're probably not going to make any more money if you don't learn anymore, but it's not required for you to do it. Risk of loss. Obviously, if you buy 100 pieces of silver and you sell it for less, that's on you. I don't know why you do that, but you could. Compliance wise, we're going to comply with all the laws and disclosures and everything that comes out. This is an independent overview. I made it. So you'd have to refer to quicksilver.me for details, qualifications, commissions, and bonuses, whatever the updated, but this is the most updated stuff I know of. And I sent it to Chrissy and she checked it off. So I know we're good, at least there. So the compensation, there's a bunch of different ways. I found out there actually is another way to make money, but we're going to discuss that in our fast start training. So these are just the basics: direct commissions, cab bonuses, challenge bonuses, override bonuses, wealth cycles, and leadership. So direct commissions is pretty simple. You get a retail website, and on a retail website, they have retail prices, which means as a rep, you have a wholesale price. The difference between wholesale and retail is your commission. So that's money that you could earn. So anytime somebody goes to your site and buys, you get the difference. Now, it is typically a small difference. It's a couple dollars usually, but a couple dollars over a couple hundred or a couple thousand people could add up very, very quickly. How do I know that? Because Starbucks only makes, I think on average, $6, $6 or $7 per cup of coffee, but you sell 1,000, 2,000 of those a day. That adds up really fast. So it is a volume play. Number two is customer acquisition bonuses. This is for people who are getting on a monthly shipment of silver. Anybody who gets on a monthly shipment of silver, specifically 1 coin or more, up to 10 coins, you get $1 per coin. Is it a lot of money? No. Again, it's just extra on top of everything else. The challenge bonuses. This is where the real money starts kicking in. You have two choices when you get started. You can either buy a pack or you can not buy a pack, right? I mean, it's like the really cheap airline. Have you ever been on a really, really cheap airline? Some discount thing where you're not allowed to bring a bag or a jacket or anything, and the person comes up and says, "Would you like, would you like dinner?" And you said, "Well, what are my options?" They're like, "Yes or no." I mean, there are no options there. It's crackers or no crackers. Um, so there are two choices. You can either get a challenge pack or not. If you decide to buy a challenge pack in the first 30 days, you don't have to do it right away. They'll double your bonuses, and instead of making $20 when you sell this, and it's basically a display case because somebody asked me what it is. I said it's a display case that holds a certain number of coins. I believe it's 40 coins. It's like 5 across, 4 deep. So it's about 40 coins. Is that correct, Dave? Dave's shaking his head. Yes. So my math sometimes is
Yes.
off. But it also comes with a magnifying glass for people who are like me, over the age of 15, who cannot see clearly close up, right? So they have a magnifying glass. They have this really cool like felt pad that you'd see in a jewelry store where they put the watch or the necklace or earrings down so it doesn't scratch or tarnish. So very, very cool display case. Very fun if you're showing it to other people, right? So that would be a $40 commission every time you move one of those. Well, that doesn't sound like a lot unless you move a couple of them a month. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You're paying for another coin out of your commission. So level one, meaning if you showed it to them, you could either make 20 or 40, depending on if you bought one. Level two is you showed it to somebody else. Well, you'd only make $5 if you didn't have one, but you can make 10 on your second level, third level. The fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh level, you make $5. So I have a friend who's in this company who, because of these bonuses, these double bonuses, made over $10,000 just in these bonuses alone. He just built a big team. He had a lot of people buying, right? A lot of people joining very quickly. I think he had 1,100 people join in the first 120 days. I say that not to impress you, not to say you're going to do that, but it is possible. He had a big network. Very cool guy. So, wealth cycles. This is my favorite part. Here's how wealth cycles work. All the coins purchased in your organization give you points. If you bought them, it's personal points. There's personal referred points, which is like your customers. And then there are team points. Those are the people who signed up because you referred them. They're on your team and they give you points too. So here's how the wealth cycles work. Number one, to achieve level one. So this is like to activate your position. First, you must have a wealth cycle. So you've signed up as an ambassador. We're going to talk about how much that costs here in a minute. It's $10 a month. Not to give it away. You have at least 10 personal points, which means you have at least one coin. How much is a current coin? Between 112 and $115, right? Between 110. Now you can also get a fractional piece of gold. You can actually do a fractional piece of gold, and that has points too. So it's up to you how you want to do that. And then refer and maintain at least one coin on auto wealth, right? So we're just going to focus on silver here just to make it really easy. So you are spending $10 a month. It's $9.95 actually, but it's $10 a month plus your coin. So what are you at? 125? 125 a month. So this is you plus your coin. And what you have to do is you have to add up 100 points on the left and 100 points on the right. Now, there's a bunch of ways to do this. You could have 10 people each get a coin, right? That's one way. That's 100 points. Or because the challenge pack gives you 40 points, you could sign up two people who each get a challenge pack and order a coin because each coin is worth 10 points. So 40 and 40 is 80, and two coins is worth 20. 80 and 20 is 100 points. So it might take you 10 people on one side. It might take you two on the other. Any combination of that to get to 100, 100, it releases a $10 commission every time. Now, what I like to focus on specifically is the upfront money, but the long-term money is in people just reordering the coins, right? Because if a lot of people are reordering the coins, then these $10 commissions start coming in, and there's many, many levels to the business. This is, um, showing here, you get up to, max cycles, one cycle, level one, you get one level one, you get two cycles. So you can make a total of $20, total of 40, 60, 80, 120, all the way up to 280. And then it starts getting crazy here, 360. At level 14, you can break a grand or a little over a grand. That's $1,200 a month. I mean, how many people wouldn't love an extra $1,200 a month? If you right now started investing $1,200 a month, that's 10 coins. You could use your commissions, buy 10 coins, and you wouldn't have a payment. I found out we can't say free because technically you're still paying $10 to be a rep. But if you paid $10 to be a rep and got 10 coins, you are way ahead of the game, right? Just because you referred it to a bunch of people. It goes all the way up to 6 grand. How many people would love an extra 6 grand coming in? Imagine right now if you had an extra 6 grand coming in, how different life might be. Some people are like, I'd quit my job. I wouldn't. I would take half of it and buy coins and half of it and pay off debt, right? Then you'd really be in a good, I mean, could you imagine having no debt, having $6,000 coming in, plus you have the coins, and all of a sudden your boss or your manager comes up and gives you a hard time and they're like, hey, you showed up late. I was like, well, if you keep talking to me, I'm going to leave early too. Because I don't need this. I'm here because I want to be here, not because I have to be here. And that, guys, that is the best way to work. I want to be here. I don't have to be here. This gives you the opportunity. It's the opportunity to put yourself in that situation. And then it gets really stupid, these upper levels, 500 to $5,000 in bonuses, $8,000 a month. And then it peaks. It peaks. One position peaks at $20,000 a month on the wealth cycles, just the wealth cycles. This doesn't include your commissions from your retail site or the customer acquisition bonuses or the challenge packs, that's just $20,000 recurring. Now, yes, it's going to take a lot of people. It may take a while, but anybody here could get there because there's enough people in the world who need money, right? So you have all of these, this is just kind of a chart that shows you how to move up the chart. This is what our fast start training is going to cover, exactly how to get that first commission, what to do, what to say, when to say it. The timing. The best time to plant a tree was probably 20 years ago. The best time to join QuickSilver would have been May 1st, 2019, but we've already established nobody here has a time machine. So the second best time is probably right now while you're hearing about it. If you're hearing about it from a friend, a family member, again, you want to get back with them ASAP, because probably by the time you talk to them, silver's already gone up and it's going to keep doing that based on history of what we're seeing. So how do you get started doing this? Well, number one, I already said, you become an ambassador for $10 a month. That is a monthly, month-to-month thing. Number two is you have the choice to do the challenge pack right away. So 139, the 139 would waive this $10 or this 9.95 the first month, and then you choose whether you get 1, 2, 4, or 10 coins. Totally up to you. You get in where you fit in financially. How do we get started after that? What do we do after that? Because everybody asks, well, I sign up, but then what? Well, number one, we're going to do a game plan right away. That's just a phone call, 30 to 45 minutes, just kind of detailing out how to get rolling, how to get in, get active, get your website set up, and what to say to people to get them to come look at what we're doing. We just plug people into our events. Again, we said every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to do this event particularly. And then there's different teams on here. So there's also a Sunday event. There's also corporate events going on. So you've got a lot of different options. You want to get your ticket to the next monthly mastermind. We're going to do a mastermind here at the end of the month, the 31st, this coming Saturday, in the afternoon. And you're actually going to get to see firsthand. I'm actually going to text message people while we're on that, and you'll see how I get responses back to back to back using leads. I'm also going to jump over to Facebook. I'm also going to jump over to Instagram. I'm also going to jump over to Twitter, and I'm going to show you on a bunch of different platforms how I'm getting leads, how I'm getting people who are interested, who want to either join or buy. Get paid and promoted. Obviously, that'd be a good idea. And then we repeat and teach this program. So again, open house every Tuesday night goes on, and you are invited. We got a couple people here. Really quick, I'm going to have Dave Thompson real quick. Would you be able to jump on here and just share, who you are, what your background is, and how did you see this, and specifically, and what do you like about it?
Well, back in 2023, October, David Mudge, my longtime friend, told me that he was collecting silver coin. I didn't know anything about it. Honestly, I was brought up with the dollar bill. Okay. And but I trust him. We go back quite a ways. And I said, okay, well, tell me more. So he told me about it. And I thought, you know what? That's kind of making sense. Because I, like everybody else, admit it or not, we tend to waste a lot of money. My thing was Starbucks at the time, and I was spending about $150 or so a month on it, and I'm so ashamed. But it adds up, and you don't even know it adds up because it's called a habit, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, this makes a lot of sense, and they're beautiful coins, and they're guaranteed, and so I started to buy them, and it started for me anyway, 2023, October, $27 an ounce. And I bought 2 a month. I was getting them. I was looking forward to them coming in the mail. And it's a discreet package, and it was guaranteed for QuickSilver in Sarasota, Florida. And I saved up about, I would say $1,000. And then something happened, and I couldn't, financially speaking, and I needed money, and I didn't want to use a credit card because that pays interest, and I didn't want to go to the bank, no loans. Hey, you know what? Ouch! I'm going to take. Okay, I'm going to take them to a reputable pawn shop, which I did. I mean, coin shop. Excuse me. And they were very nice to me, and they gave me on spot about $1,200. And I thought, what? Well, they went up to 30 in in about a year or so. They went up at the time to like $32 or 30. 5. And I thought, wow. So I, just by holding on to them, they increased in value, you know,
Yeah.
and that really sold me. Let alone I felt secure and peaceful about having it in at home. There's something about the clarity that comes to you when you're financially secure. You can create other things in your life and breathe. And so I thought, okay, this is a good investment. It's better than, you have to be honest with yourself. Okay, it's better than coffee. I can do that at home. um, and it's exciting too because um, for every coin that you buy, a percentage of it goes to feed my starving children.org, and you get involved in helping other people you don't even know, and it's a legitimate organization. I've looked into it deeply and talked to the founders in that because I'm a sleuth. I love to research, and it's fit into my budget because I fit it into my budget, and you don't even think about it,
Yeah.
and it's just a great way to collect and leave a legacy, or just to have it on hand. I mean, down the road, hey, do you want a house? Do you want, or whatever you're going for, or college education or something? This is good. I'll just say it's good seed money. So it's a win-win actually, and like Jeff was saying, the dollar bill is a fiat. Okay, so what it is, it used to be silver certificates. In fact, this is on my mind so much. Yeah, I had a dream last night about silver certificates. I was back in the '60s. It was a really weird dream, but uh, you wake up and you look at the dollar bill and it says a federal note, which is an IOU. And that fluctuates even in stock.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's my story.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I mean, guys, there's so many people that I've talked to, so many stories, but since Dave was on video and right here, I want to keep this as short as possible, but he was, um, lucky enough and gracious enough to take his time and share with us. But guys, that's it. Get back with the person who brought you here. And I always say this at usually the beginning of our event, but I'll kind of say it now. The purpose of this was just to provide information, so that way, if you run into the right person, you have the ability to refer them to us. If you saw something you liked, definitely get back with that person who brought you here. We appreciate everybody for jumping on, and learning more about what we do. And if you do want to get involved, I look forward to being the first to congratulate you to come on board, whether you're just collecting or whether you're referring other people or you want to treat this like a business. So thank you guys. Hope to see you soon, and we will doing this again next Tuesday. I appreciate it.